Michelle. You know, when Michelle and Bridget asked me to be their token for the show, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be your only black storyteller, no problem. They were like, no, like the only like non-New Yorker. I was like, oh, yeah, well, whatever, I can be whatever token, whatever. You know? I feel you, you know. But it also reminded me of the reason why I did want to move to Brooklyn, specifically Fort Greene, and it was everything that you heard in Daisy Rosato's story. I mean, I was infatuated with hip-hop, I was infatuated with politics, that combination of the two of them, you know what I'm saying? And I come from California, and this is everything, California in the house, whoop, whoop. And it was everything that I wanted it to be. So in 2004, I had packed up my Honda Civic, 98, a little green, a little bad boy, you know, and drove it from San Francisco, Northern California, to all the way across here to Fort Greene, Brooklyn, and I moved into the place where I currently am now, and it was a dream. I was going to find a job, I was going to do it, and everything was great. Until about 2 weeks into my little experience here in Fort Greene. I'm passing by the street and I pass by my car and whoosh, gone is my car window. I'm like, oh, okay, that's never happened before. It's interesting. And I kind of like look inside my car and, you know, all the guts were like just spilled out everywhere. Just like, you know, car radio's gone, all the insides are gone. It's like, okay, no problem, whatever. I call up my insurance and they're like, I'm not taking care of that. You're on your own, sucker. It's like, okay, well, here we go. So I take care of my car. No big deal, right? About 2 weeks pass by, and I pass by my car again. Whoosh, gone is my car window again. Second time in about my first month here in Fort Greene. I'm like the new kid on the block here, and this is not fun so far. So I'm like, I don't know really what's going on, but all right. So I put back in my window. And I go along with my business, right? And to make matters worse, I was trying to get some type of job that connected my loves. My love for hip-hop and for music and for activism, all those type of good things. And I found this job that looked absolutely perfect. It was running a director of programs organization in Crown Heights. But in order to get the job, I had to submit 6 letters of recommendation, which was like 3 more than I ever had for any other like major grad school program, you know, like it was 6 letters of recommendation. And then I had like, you know, a meeting with the executive director, and then a meeting with the council of elders, and then a meeting with the board of directors, and then a meeting with the youth, and it was like on and on and on and on. And finally, after 6 interviews, I get this job as the director of programs. But on my second week on the job, I lose the keys to the organization. I know, it was bad. And so the director comes up to me and she's like, oh, so you want to lose the keys? We're going to lose $10,000 from your salary. And I was like, what? Like, just like that? I mean, and this is a nonprofit, okay? I'm not working at JP Morgan Chase. I'm not doing like, you know, none of this baller stuff. I was making a nonprofit salary working for a nonprofit out in, you know, Crown Heights. So it was barely enough to cover my rent and popcorn, you know? That was basically like it. So I'm just like miserable, and to make matters worse, like my neighborhood bar, Moe's, is the place where I always hang out, right? You know Moe's. I know some of you guys know Moe's. And sometimes Moe's can be a little seedy-ish, and the guys that I were meeting was like, hey, baby, you want to come home? I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, because I was stupid and lonely and didn't know anything else, you know. Meet this guy, he's like, yeah, I don't live far, I just live out in Canarsie. I'm like, okay, whatever. Oh my gosh. End up going out with this guy, he takes me home to Canarsie. I'm like, okay, as long as I'm going back to work by 9 o'clock in the morning, to work with the kids, so I can get paid nothing, you know. Yeah, baby, no problem. Takes me home to Canarsie, and I am like, where am I? This isn't Brooklyn, is it? I don't know where this is. And the next morning, he like gives me like a couple bucks, like $5, puts me in a taxi and sends me back home. I'm like, okay, now I'm feeling like a hooker, like prostitute, like things, I mean, like, my car was being broken into, the job was bad, like guys are just treating me like dirt. I'm like, why am I here? Like, what is going on? Like, this isn't California. It's hard. And so I was telling my friend, one of my friends, Mara, about this. She was also living in California at the time. But she was coming to move back into Clinton Hill, and right next door to Fort Greene. And I was like, yes, thank you. I'm gonna have a friend. I'm finally gonna have somebody who I know, who I can kind of talk to about like my trials and tribulations of trying to figure it out in New York. And the best thing about Mara and her boyfriend Jay was the fact that Jay worked for Dave. Dave meaning Dave Chappelle. And at the time, this was 2004, and Chappelle's show had just taken off, and it was doing great. I mean, absolutely wonderful. And so they were not only like working for the show, but they were personal friends of Dave. And so they're like, okay, Dawn, you know, your luck has been really down and bad. Just, why don't we take you out and just surprise you with a couple of shows? It's like, sounds good to me. Let's do this. You know, this is what I'm here for, right? So about 2 weeks after they move into their place in the Clinton Hill, they invite me over. And so I jump on my bike and, you know, bike over on the 4 blocks. And they're like, okay, so we're going to go to this party tonight. It's called the Block Party. All right? I was like, okay, sounds good. I don't know anything about it, but I was like, all right, let's you know, like put on some shoes, and you know, we'll tell you about it on the way there. It's like, okay, sounds good. Now, for those of you who don't know, Block Party was going to be the biggest thing going on, like probably in the entire year in Brooklyn. I didn't know what was really going on, but for all the other people who were interested in checking out this show, they had to get these tickets, kind of like these secret tickets from an online spot. I don't even know how people got these tickets. But all it said was Dave Chappelle presents Block Party. And the Block Party was going to be in a secret location in Brooklyn. They kept it secret on purpose because they didn't want to make it all like hyped up and crazy. And so in order to get to the Block Party, everybody else from Connecticut, from New York, from Jersey, from wherever you lived in New York City, you had to go to this secret location by a bridge in Manhattan to catch this little yellow bus that was going to be bringing you back into Brooklyn and the secret location. And all the buses were going in different directions. But since we knew Dave and we knew exactly what was going on, we looked at the map and we're like, it's on Downing and Grand. That's like 4 blocks that way. And so he's like, do you want to drive? I'm not going to drive my busted up car. Let's just walk, right? Let's just walk over there. And so we walk over there and they tell me about this show. And as I walk onto the set, as everything's getting set up, I was blown away by what this lineup was going to be. I mean, if my dream was hip-hop and neo-soul, this was going to be it. I mean, I'm talking Kanye West was on the bill, Mos Def, Talib Kweli, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, Common, you know, Lauryn Hill, Praz, Wyclef, everybody who was anybody in New York hip-hop, neo-soul was going to be on this bill, and I was just chilling with them all. I had full VIP access. I was mind blown. Like this was Brooklyn, okay? This is what I had come to Brooklyn for. And so all these people were coming in from all these different boroughs on all these different buses. And little by little it started filling up. But after an hour or so, it was only about like 900 people, and they decided to go public with it and say, like, you know, we want more people to actually come to this free, mind you, free block party on a street in Brooklyn. And so I'm up on this roof. There's this school. The set is made of like a school and a dead end, and it's built like a stage. And so I'm up on top of the school, like looking down on the crowd, and they introduced me to somebody by the name of Babito. Babito, I later learned, was a DJ here on, you know, the New York City airwaves, and was just mad cool, and just started talking to me about like where I was from, what I was doing here, my ambitions, and he told me that he worked in radio. I was like, I want to work in radio. And he's like, well, you know what, this block party, like, we're about to call the radio stations because we have about, you know, 900 people here, but we want to get some more. So, you know, I'm going to call them up. why don't you, like, you know, give them a call and let them know what's going on. I was like, you want me to call? He's like, yeah, I got the number. We're going to call Hot 97, no problem. I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we get on the phone. We call up Hot 97. And they're like, yeah, okay, what's going on? Who's this, you know? And I was like, yo, this is Don, Fraser, D, Frizzle. Just like, all of a sudden, like, my personality just went like haywire. I was like, y'all gotta get down here. We got Kanye West. We got Lauryn Hill, Pros, Mudsuckers. I'm like, what? Who is this? I was like, it's D, Frizzle representing Fort Greene. Mind you, I had lived in Fort Greene like a month. Okay, I did not represent Fort Greene. But it was the first time that people were starting to look to me for like insight and like figuring out what was going on, and I was suddenly just thrown into Brooklyn. This is what I was here for. And the concert gets filled, and it's wonderful, it's amazing, everyone's having a great time. Dave's coming up and he's doing these sketches and telling these jokes. And I'm up on the roof with Papito and Mara and my friend Jay, and I start telling them, like, you know, this is what I want to do. I want to be part of the legacy, really part of the legacy of Brooklyn. I mean, I know I'm not from here, but I want to help be and make it here. And there was this saying, you know, like, you gotta live in California once and leave before it makes you too soft. And you gotta live in New York once and leave before it makes you too hard. And I was like, I don't know about that, because I don't know, like, I just feel like this is going to be my home. I just felt it, like, in that moment. Later on that night, when the show was over, best concert I had ever been to in my entire life, my top 5 memories of all time. People are jumping in cabbies, going to the other boroughs, going home, Connecticut, Jersey, Staten Island, wherever. And I'm walking home to my brownstone in Brooklyn. And I thought, you know, I have this dream. I know what I need to do now. So I got a club, and my car never got broken into again. I quit the job where they slashed my salary by $10K, and instead got a job at Hot 97. And I never quite figured out the men's situation. No, still trying to like figure out the brothers and the brother in Brooklyn. I don't know about that still. I feel you. It's crazy sometimes. It's crazy out there for some single ladies. But you know, when I do finally make it, and when I do finish doing all the storytelling and performing and being on the radio and finish like living up my dreams, I'll know for sure it's because I was inspired by the art and the musicians from that day at Dave Chappelle's block party, and because I finally had put in my dues living here in Fort Greene, Brooklyn. Thank you.